Hello. This is the Contest Fantasy Footy Show where we actually wear tinfoil hats in our spare time. I'm Jesse. I like redraft. I'm K-Man. He's a dual hat winner. We're your hosts. We like fantasy footy. You can follow K-Man on Twitter at K-Man_TC Fantasy. You can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. K-Man, mate, how you doing?
That was a doozy. That was a doozy of a weekend. I think I said about 3 weeks ago where I said, that was a doozy. That was great. And now I'm saying that was a doozy. That was pain. That was
Believe in the
pain.
biz, they say doozy. That was a doozy. Yeah.
That was a doozy. I don't know what that means, but yeah, that was brutal. That was
like
brutal.
Witchay woman.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
Witchay woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was rough. And I remember I was texting you early in the round going, oh, my score's going to be rubbish. And then as the weekend progressed and my score ended up being okay. And then I just thought to myself, I'm going to not message K-Man anymore. I'm going to give him his space because I can sense that maybe things aren't going well.
Oh, it just happened so quick. I was saying before we recorded, I'd settled in for the Arvo. I think it was the Bombers game. Sharp was killing it at halftime. And the next 30 minutes just rocked my weekend. Sharp goes out with a shoulder. Wangs are laid out. I had to play 21. I had to field 21, scrambling. And I was thinking, what a pretty cruisy Saturday night it was going to be.
And I'm really sorry because I seem to have stuffed you because you messaged me and you were like, oh, I'm going to play 21, but I could play 22 if I did this trade instead of this one. And I said, yeah, do that. Get 22 on field. And I think you've done the math and it would have been better the other way around.
Yeah, I would have scored more with 21 players. Man alive.
That's an absolute schmozzle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was good.
Oh, gosh. Well, I had something to talk about, but I've completely forgotten what it is. So I reckon we should just get. We've got, I think, what will end up probably being a pretty juicy show. So I reckon we should just get stuck into it this week. Before we do that, though, if you dig the content, remember to chuck us a follow and a 5-star rating over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Takes you 10 seconds to just pause the show, click follow, click rate, like, share, subscribe over on YouTube where you can watch us there. Great show lined up today. We've got the trade block as usual. We are talking, if you didn't get it by the opening line, we are talking round 9 conspiracy theories because that is the only way to explain some of the mess that happened this week. But first, before we get to that goodness, of course, giddy up and Mike the Phony.
Giddy up. Like you didn't call me a phony?
You nailed it. Well,
yeah. And I was lucky too because there was that delay happened. I thought, oh no. But you had a fumble.
I filibustered it. Yeah, beautiful. Well, welcome to Giddy Up and Mike the Phony, where we use childish puns to summarize our fantasy week. Let us know your punny best and worst of the week on Twitter, and we'll laugh at them on the pod. We put a Twitter post up or a tweet up every single Sunday, so you can join in the fun. K-Man, take it away. Who's your Giddy Ups and Mike the Phonies this week?
Giddy Ups, I have none. No one in sack lunch this week deserves a giddy up.
Oh, did you have a single ton? Did you get a single ton this week?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Miller did great.
There you go.
Got 100. She's, yeah, no, they're not getting it. My Mike the Phonies this week.
Yeah.
St. killed my season.
Mm-hmm.
St.
The whole team.
killed my season.
Whole club.
The wang out. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but the wang's out. Adam Painsley. I talked about this before we recorded. I think it was halfway through the third. And GWS, boy, they were playing really poorly and something needed to change. Oh, Kingsley knows what to do. Let's take Ash out of the midfield and stick him at half back. Change the game. Who'd have thought? And you think, hey, if that's your best player at half back, maybe you should play him at half back. I don't know. I'm just a fantasy coach.
I'm just a fantasy coach with chip dust on my shirt, but hey.
Yeah, that's it. And last Mike the Phony goes to Cozzy Pick It Up as my captain.
I'm so conflicted about this one because I remember watching Cozzy on the weekend and every first thought was, oh, thank goodness he's choking because I don't have him. And every second thought was, okay, man, no.
So
I was conflicted.
Wang, I thought I nailed it. Wang up at Northern Territory. I don't know if you saw his average against Gold Coast is through the roof. His average at that ground is through the roof. Back home, hot, sweaty night. I thought he's just going to kill it. And after the late out, it was either Max Gawn or Cozzy Pickett. And just before, I thought, where's Gawn going? Where's he going? Where's he going? He went straight to full forward. I went, no. So it went to the Pickett.
I just feel like this week was another example of how much luck is truly involved as well. Like, obviously, a lot of good strategy, a lot of good decision making is involved in doing well in fantasy, but how much luck? Once again, another bullet that Team Channel has managed to dodge. And if I had copped the same bullets as everyone else, I have no doubt I'd be stinking it up in the 50K range. So, yeah. All right, well, look, I could actually give out many giddy-ups this week. But I'm not
one guy.
I won't bore the people. Smarty got it. Because the man is not just a genius, he is God.
He is fantasy God. Boy, oh
Archie
boy.
got him his chocolates. Whoa. So I VC'd Zach Butters and he had a 109 and I very briefly considered taking it and just being safe. I've got a pretty good run with captains and vice captains this year so far, and I thought, let's keep it rolling. But then I thought, you know what? I'm gonna back myself in here because a certain Team Channel's forward line was not off to a good start.
It wasn't a great start, was it?
Good start. And B, I thought, no, I'm going to back my analysis in here because I thought that GWS would be an excellent matchup for Archie Roberts. We saw John Noble go 144 the week before. All these halfbacks had absolutely smashed GWS and scored really well this season. And sure enough, 157. Beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing to watch. And my Mike the Phony, there's really only one guy who truly deserves it in the team. The whole forward line deserves it. But Brody Shundy, because I want to shun him from my team.
That was
after that performance, Tristan Sherry, is immaculate.
He's a great
in the
player.
ruck.
Yeah,
he might be. I know Max Gawn is the GOAT. Don't get me wrong. Tristan Sherry might be the best ruckman today. It's just a shame he got suspended for wiping. It's out there. I've put it out there.
Yeah, not a good guy. He's not a great guy.
He's the kind of guy who wipes blood on other people, but he's very good. He's a very
love to have you on the show.
Love to have you on the show.
Love to have you on the show.
Reach out, mate. Reach out.
Yeah, we're keen. Still waiting on Drapes. Still waiting on Draper to get back.
Still waiting on Drapes. We should. Maybe I can message too, and then he's got two angles.
Chase that up.
Yeah. Reach out to Dunks. Yeah. Anyway, Josh Dunkley's brother runs a renovation business called Dunkley Developments.
DDs.
And I was very tempted to get them to do our bathrooms. You want to get some?
Yeah, that's a great shout. I swore you were going to say Dunkley's Donuts.
Oh, that'd be great. It's a missed opportunity, really. Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
From the listeners on Twitter, in no particular order and in no organization of giddy ups and microphonies, we have come on, Zerha.
Oh.
And I'm really sorry, Aaron AFL Fantasy. I can't read that one, but it's very funny. I can't read it on the pod, mate. We're a PG show. Hence, we got stupid, sexy Flanders. That's a good reference. Karchi Roberts, Lockie everywhere on the field. Some microphones. Cozzy, can you please kick it? Please.
Yeah.
Jacob Ferocious. Although that sounds like a good one to me.
Yeah,
I think he was Jacob
Atrocious.
Ferocious. Atrocious. There you go.
Is it spelled atrocious? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's because I'm thinking of like ferocious. No, you got it.
Yeah.
Sam, come on, my man, do something. Get it together.
Yeah.
This one's good. I like it for the simplicity. Bloody Grundy. Capty Empty Bucket Pickett. Isaac, Isaac, what didn't I captain you instead of improve my Rankin? Rankin.
Yep.
My man Murdoch. I can't read that other one, Lex. I'm really sorry. there's some R-rated ones here.
There were some angry people on the weekend.
There were some angry people on the weekend. The sea was angry that day, my friends. Yes. Is that the quote?
Yeah.
Archie, can someone for the love of God please stand someone next to him, Roberts? See, I'm on the other side of this one. Yeah.
Oh.
Dylan Scoremore.
Yes.
That's good. I like
That's
that.
very good.
Isaac doing the most for my Rankin.
Yeah.
Or Scam Cummings. Definitely can't read that one. Mozzie Pickett.
Oh,
or Cozzy Pickle. Which is just funny. I like that.
Yeah.
That was Giddy Up with Mike Mahoney, everybody. Again, thank you very much. Participate in the fun. Send us in your punny best and worst of the week. It is the best way to let out your rage on a weekly basis and your excitement as well. Should we go around the grounds? A couple of things to talk about in terms of injuries and whatnot.
Well, I think the first one is very interesting. So as a Cozzy owner, when I saw him go for the ball and the shoulder make contact with the opposing player, I thought, oh, here we go. He's going to be suspended, as well as a poor score. He's got off. I thought, that makes sense. I was not expecting Butters to get off as well. And that was going to be my conundrum, because if Butters got off, how could Cozzy then go to the MRO? Because you just saw the Butters one about 10 minutes ago,
I just watched it. Yeah, because we watched the Brisbane game.
Went past the ball, intentionally went to bump, and collected the chin of Smoking Joe Frazier, just like Smoking Joe Frazier used to cop back in the day. How did he get off? How did he get off?
I have no idea. You saw my reaction when I watched that. Just like we were on Riverside, and he was like a freight train. He was like a Brisbane train. Because, Translink's always late.
Yes. That's very good. Very
but
good.
that was, I cannot believe.
Pass the ball.
How he got off of that. Insane. Yeah. What about the Cozzy one?
No, I thought that was okay. He was at the ball. He was just pure ball. It wasn't a bump. It just so happened that two players were going for the ball. Cozzy was all eyes on the ball, and it just collected. I thought that was fine. But the Butters one had clear intent to make body contact aggressively, pass the ball, and hit him on the chin. I couldn't get over how that got off.
So somehow, especially when you consider like a few weeks ago, at the beginning of the season, Harris Andrews for that stray elbow copped a 3-week suspension.
Yeah, didn't even see the guy.
I thought that probably should have been a week personally, but for that to cop 3 weeks and for this one to get off with a fine seems beyond the pale to me.
It's definitely the difference between the NRL judicial system and the AFL is the AFL take into account the impact.
Yeah.
So the Harris Andrews hits the ground, out, concussed, that adds severity. Whereas the NRL, it's on the act. The act is what gets the suspension. So if Frazier goes down and gets concussed, Butters, what does he get? 3 weeks?
Yep, easy.
Potentially. Intentional, careless, high, and a concussion. So it's interesting.
That's something that's always confused me is it should be the act. Like I don't understand how the outcome should have much bearing. It should just be, is it in this day and age, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not is a totally separate discussion. But if in this day and age it is not considered a football act, then suspension of some degree. Anyway.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dyson Sharp.
For all those coaches who traded him in, has come out with a shoulder injury. Now, I can't find definitive information on how long this will be, but Google AI overview tells me 4 to 6 weeks and possible surgery, but I don't put any stock in that. So, it's it sucks. It sucks for him because he looked great, and it sucks for fantasy coaches who maybe traded him in last week.
I feel sorry for Essendon because all of a sudden he was in the middle. Roby was looking good, and they had another youngster, and we thought, okay, this is the future of Essendon. And he looked comfortable. Dyson Sharp looked so good. And the act in which he got injured, again, was brave, courageous, tough, crushed a pack, and unfortunately, with rookie bodies, just couldn't sustain the collision.
That's what happens. And the final one we've got is Tim English out with a concussion, which if you held Tim English or you traded back into him or something like that is a bit of a big deal for you. And the thing is with his, I think what people are noting is that with his concussion history, could they be a little bit careful with this, and could it be multiple weeks? Combine that with his knee stuff, give him more time to recover from both. Definite flag to watch with the Tim English there.
They definitely came out and said they're going to be highly conservative with those two reasons: previous concussion and coming back from injury. So it could be 1 to 2, and he's definitely on the radar for a lot of coaches for a McAndrew upgrade, but maybe just something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Should we talk tinfoil hats and conspiracy theories?
Yes. Sure.
So we came up with this segment not long ago, and we were like, what are we going to talk about this week? And we thought this week is so insane. There are so many inexplicably bad scores, so many crazy things happening, late outs that caught everyone by surprise. The only way to explain these things is through conspiracy theories. And so we've got you covered. We got
you had a pause, and I thought, oh, that's going to work.
We got a whole bunch of conspiracy theories lined up to talk about all the players and convince you as to why either you should keep them or maybe not keep them. So I'll let you kick this off, mate. You've got a big one to explain, possibly the biggest story of fantasy this week.
Yeah, look, Wang, he went up for a holiday. Went up to the NT. And just didn't make the game. Sekilda didn't know where he was. He showed up in the grandstand, but come on. AFL, St Kilda, if we know he's going to be injured, put him on the injury list. Make it a test. Give some communication. We know he's a big draw card for the NT game. Very important that the locals assumed he was going to play, but I don't know. Something doesn't sit right with a very late omission of managed for mine.
It almost just, you're totally right though. Like it actually feels like the kind of thing where there's no way more people didn't know that Nasiah Wanganeen Miller, the $2 million man, was not going to be playing that game earlier in the week.
Yeah.
How does that come out of the wire?
Well, you get it, right? He's a big draw card. They want a big match, big crowd up in Northern Territory. So I guess the conspiracy is, do you name he's going to be out during the week knowing that he's such a big name player? And perhaps they left it to the very last minute that he could rock up an NT, but it just doesn't sit right for a few reasons. The
next one. If you traded in Nick Newman, I bet you want to know why he ended up on the wing. Well, I have it on good conspiratorial authority that Nick Newman and Michael Voss are actually united in their secret hatred of fantasy football and fantasy football coaches. So that's why they moved him to the wing. They thought, they got together before the game and they said, you know what would be a funny prank is if Nick, we moved you to the wing, mate. Let's just chuck you there for a bit of a laugh. I just don't see any other explanation.
No, well, I'm pretty sure it came out a couple of years ago that Vossi had Callum Mills at a 2 or a 3 that game that he got injured and it ruined his season, and that was it.
Yeah, I think that must have been it.
Callum Mills, score of 3. Yeah.
How do you feel if you traded Nick Newman this week? How do you feel about it? Like, do you feel okay in the long term? Because we kind of discussed Nick Newman versus Bailey Dale last week, and we were talking about how we both really liked Nick Newman as the long-term play over the between the two, but it was just such a tricky matchup that we didn't want to trade into that, so we opted for Bailey Dale. In the end, it was a difference of like 6 points. But do you still feel that way? Do you still feel like know that he'll be right? Or does this kind of like flicking him to the wing give you a bit of pause for owners of like, well, could they move him around?
I mean, you are against a midfield depth of Brisbane Lions who, let's face it, have some pretty decent wingers out there, whether it's Levi Ashcroft, whether McCluggage pushes out. I know Jared Berry wasn't playing. So the depth does leak into the wing areas, and they're great at transition footy. So whether they wanted someone experienced just to be able to nullify transition, the confusing part was he was so hungry and thirsty at halfback for the last 3 rounds. It seemed to be an odd switch. Let's hope it is just a Brisbane Lions play, a relatively friendly-ish matchups to come, but not what you want to see as someone who's a value pick and hopefully going to rectify some coaches' seasons.
I still think you can probably trade in. I still think you can trade into him if you haven't already, and you're looking in that. I think if you're looking in that price range, I think you can still do it personally. But I'd almost say this is probably like the last kind of week because he's got the Dogs. Port is not the easiest, but not the hardest. Geelong are okay. They're not going to tag Nick Newman or anything like that. Then he's got the Dons. Then he's got GWS, who are a good matchup for halfbacks this season. Then he's got the Eagles. Then he's got Richmond. Then he's got Hawks. And then he's got Collingwood and Suns. Like, it just kind of keeps going. So
yeah,
I think like if you can kind of get through that Port Geelong, I think you can trade into him personally. But I probably it'd be interesting to see what happens this coming week. But it is harder after seeing him play the wing, and maybe the Bont is probably your number one option this week if you can get to him.
Yeah, wing's that funny position where you can get that the far side where you don't see it. It's the most least friendly fantasy position out there.
Totally,
and that's the scare.
All right, hit me with this next one. This was your favorite, I think.
Oh, well, I think all the forwards, I reckon they listen to all the fantasy pods, how inconsistent, how yucky it is to bring a forward in this week. What do we do for 3 weeks? Just hearing pod after pod about how yucky the forward line is. Well, they got together. They all got together this week and stunk it up on purpose. Wasn't that just a carousel of 50s, 60s, grossness?
Gross.
Except Rankin. He wasn't invited.
He was invited to the meeting.
He didn't get the
Bolton
memo.
Was invited.
Bolton was invited. Bailey was invited. Cozzy was invited. What did McInerney get? I think
Warner was invited.
Odds. Warner was
Chad,
invited.
He attended.
JHF was invited. They got together. They're sick of being called gross. Boy.
But you know what? They are. And this is why. Frankly,
vindicated.
It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace.
Wasn't that just unbelievable?
Wow. I remember we were at the footy on Friday night watching the Lions, and we were laughing at quarter time. Zach Bailey was on like 42 points or 45 points. All of the Brisbane mids were over 25 points. So they were all doing well. It was looking great. Sam Walsh, I think, was at like 22 points. So that was accepted. It was all looking good. Kitty Coleman was even doing fine.
Yeah.
And then it just fell to pieces. And the other guys kind of cobbled together a performance. Yeah. C-Mac was he was there.
C-Mac we forgot to mention. He was in the
Zach
meeting.
Bailey, he scored 20 points for the rest of the game, including a 2-point quarter.
Yeah.
Less than 20, actually. I think it was like 15 points for the rest of the game, including a 2-point quarter. So it was just gross. And do you know what I thought to myself was like, I was starting to think this. I was like, this is, I've stuffed this because I've got too many of these same archetypal half forward types in one line. I've got Shea Bolton, who gets a few CBAs but runs off half forward. I got Zach Bailey, who gets a few CBAs but runs off half forward. But then I thought, the Chad will be right.
What did Chad get?
The Chad will be right. He got 60 something, 60 odd.
Yeah.
50 odd, 60 odd. He got 63. I thought the Chad, he gets like 40 to 60% CBAs on any given day. Nah, barely in there.
He was saved
Josh
in that last quarter.
He was saved. He was.
He had a good last quarter.
Atrocious. It's a hard watch having all
and
these.
It just goes to show that if you are going to go these half forward types, some of them have to kick 2 to 3 goals a game. We talked about Zach Bailey had scored, pretty prestigiously since the end of last season. Bolton needs goals. Rochelle needs goals. And if they don't get them, this is what can happen. Warner needs 1 to 2 goals. And I guess that's what you're going to get with the forward line this year, with Flanders and Sheasel meeting the main midfield stayers.
These guys are pretty much... I've just decided you can't afford, in future fantasy for me, I just don't think you can afford to have more than 1 or maybe 2 of these guys in your forward line. Like, I think you can, because of how volatile the forward line is, I think you can devote F6, maybe F5 and 6 to a couple of these types. Like if you had Zach Bailey and Chad Warner at F5 and 6, and then you had Shees, Track, Flanders, Cozzy, although Cozzy, he was at that meeting as well. I think you'd sort of feel better about that, but like you can't be having, like you can't be having Bailey, Warner, Bolton, and Rochelle all in one forward line. It's just it's not going to work. The next one here is Sam Cumming and Patrick Reshko. I think they might be housemates, because I reckon there is no way.
Housemates.
There is no way to explain what has happened this last 3 weeks other than they have some kind of housemate under the table deal where week by week they take it in turns. They just take it in turns to score well, to mess with the AFL fantasy community, I reckon.
Yeah.
But did you field Sam Cumming this week?
I had to. That was part of my debacle, was having the Wang laid out. I had to change my Carroll trade. Carroll was a trade out, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
But the way my line worked, I would have played with 21. So I had to field Carroll. I had to trade Murdoch, and I had to play Cumming on field. And Rechko was the man this week.
And Murdoch would have scored more than both of them combined, wouldn't he?
And that's how I would have got the extra 30 points if I played 21, Murdoch on field, a donut in my defensive line. That was the way to go.
That's brutes. That's brutes. Do you know what? So I did not have any. I didn't play either of these guys on field this week. I didn't have confidence in either of them.
Yeah,
because
I didn't either originally.
Rechko, I kind of went, well, okay, he did a 90 odd 2 weeks ago, but then last week he kind of did me dirty in rookie roulette. So I sort of went wing roll. It could be up and down. Cumming, I thought this is the return of Tim Taranto, and we haven't seen what that mix looks like because Timmy T's been out for 2 games. So we haven't properly seen what that looks like yet. And I was just like, I just wonder if that'll have an impact. Now, I didn't really watch this game closely, so I don't know if that had an impact. But either way, the fear kept me from fielding the man. So thank you for that, Timmy T, for your return. This next one is interesting.
I want you to take it. I want you to take it.
Oh, you want me to take it?
Yeah. This is your boy.
My boy.
This is great.
You may not know this, but the number 1 AFL fantasy coach this year, their team name is Artie's Party. You can check them out. They're on Twitter. Shout out to Artie's Party. They're doing great. Apparently, it's their first year even playing fantasy football. I have a conspiracy theory that Artie's Party, the number 1 AFL fantasy coach in 2026, is actually just Archie Roberts with the pseudonym. He's cheating the system to win the car. And it explains why all of a sudden Archie Roberts has exploded and is like the D1 of the year. And as you just said, he's captaining himself week in and week out.
Every week.
He can't keep getting away with it. Archie?
Juicing up his mate Farrow as well. Well done, Artie's Party.
It's the only... I mean, an Artie's Party, I know... Okay, I know. If
Artie
you look
Roberts.
at it... The team picture is of Artie. What's his last name in the Dogs? Artie, that player, Artie, the guy kicked like 7 goals the other week. Artie Jones. So
Jones.
I take your point, because you might say, Jesse, Artie Party. That's not Archie. That's a different name. here's the thing, and his profile picture is Artie Jones. So I get it; it's a play on Artie Jones, or is it? Is that part of the conspiracy? Artie is similar enough to Archie that it's like a bit of a fun gag for him, but it's different enough that it throws everyone off. For liability reasons, obviously, Artie's party, we do not think you are Archie Roberts. You're doing very, very well, and congratulations. Well,
can we add on? We talked about it on Twitter just a day ago. Archie Roberts, 1.129 mil. Is he a must-have? Do coaches bring him? Do coaches now go, I have to get Roberts in at 1.129 mil. I'm going to break the bank. I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to get rid of Bruin, Miller, whatever it is. Is he now, if you want to get some ground on the comp, do you have to get him?
Look at what his scores: 136, 164, 117, 134, an 85 against a very stiff Brisbane, and then 157. Like, that's his last 6. It's very hard to sit here as an owner and tell non-owners he's not a must-have. He's got Fremantle next week, who this year have not been the easiest matchup, but Bailey Dale just scored 129 on him 2 weeks ago. He's got Richmond in week 11. He's got West Coast in week 12. He's got Carlton, Melbourne in week 13 and 14. I mean, can you see him across that 5-week span? Do you think it's outside the realm of possibility that he averages 120?
Oh, the only way it's not is if teams tag him. He has to be a tag target.
And I don't see those teams tagging him.
Then no. I mean, he's 85% owned in the top 1% of the competition and 78% owned in the top 5%.
You probably have to have, if he's that high owned in the top 1%, then you've probably got to have him, right? Especially,
well, the issue is, if you're going to get him, you're not going to gain any ground because the top 5% have him. So you actually have to. Do you bolster yourself? 5%.
Do you bolster yourself against everyone else? Like, does getting him in at least allow you to maybe make up 5K, 10K ranks, depending on how far back you are? And then it's such a hard one, isn't it?
In the short term, perhaps, what does that do in terms of the long term? If you're going to pay 1.126 mil,
I think if you don't have Roberts at this point and you're doing relatively well, it's because you've got Dacos and Baz or something like that in your team already. Yeah. Here's the question. If you don't have any of Archie Roberts, Nick Dacos, Baz Smith, Bont, Sheasel, Grundy, although he did just drop a stinker, but like, that's tough.
I think I'd still go Whitfield areas before Roberts. 1 point, just over a mil. His run.
I think I agree, because if you break the bank to get a Roberts in, and that's what stops you from, say, getting a rookie off field, but if you can bring in, say, a Whitfield and quote unquote complete that line, then maybe your hope is that the collective scoring of that line is enough to keep you up with the Roberts. And then you can bring him in later in the season when the rest of your team is sorted out, I suppose.
Yeah. So I still think it's a no. You can't get him in now.
Gosh. It must be hard looking back on 3 weeks ago when everyone said, no, it's too late. And it probably wasn't yet.
Yeah.
All right. What's this next one, mate?
Brodie Grundy is taking vengeance for his brother who won last year, couldn't get the car. Conflict of interest. Well, he sucked in all the coaches. Pick me, value pick. I'll give you a 130, and then decides I'm going to drop a 50 on all of you. Well played, Brodie Grundy.
It's the long play. It's the long
it's the
game.
long game.
It's commitment to the bit at the sacrifice of an all-Australian Blazer that I really respect.
Hey,
like,
blood is thicker than water, right?
but
Tough matchup.
okay, how scary is the Tristan Sherry matchup?
It's
For
scary.
opposition rucks now.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about this more later when we get to the trade block. But like Lockie McAndrew has Tristan Sherry this upcoming week.
Yeah.
And if you've got Lockie McAndrew for teams that have him at R2, how nervy is that?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, what was evident on the weekend is Sherry's still not winning the hitouts, but it's his ability to use the body, shift his opponent, take the ball, kick, and then defensively make the tackles. He's really good around ground, better than what I thought he was going to be. And that's where he's racking it up and nullifying hit-out contests where Grundy was going to have to win that through hit-outs, and Sherry just took that away from him time and time again. I've got a gripe, by the way, while I'm here. You've just hit me.
Do it.
I was going to say it at the start of the episode, but this ball-up rule where players go over the line and they call
it's
it
shocking.
Up,
yeah.
you can't call it if the throw is on one side of the line, right?
Yeah.
This ball up, there's now an issue with the ball's not going right in the right position, and it's advantaging one. But if it goes to one side of the line, that player then holds. The other player jumps over the line, and they get the free kick.
Just bring the bounce back. This is what I.
That was the
beauty
of the game.
It was beautiful. No other game like it. Who cares if every fifth ball up or every fifth bounce, I'm even saying ball up now. Who cares if every fifth bounce it goes a little bit haywire and then you just have to follow it up with a ball up? Who cares?
Redo it. Yeah.
It's an extra 20 seconds of your life. Like, it doesn't, just redo it. It doesn't matter. There's drama and there's theater in the bounce, in the center
ball
bounce.
Up now is just... Anyway.
It's really bland to watch. No, I agree. And also, is it right that if they cross the line in the air, it's also a free kick?
Because I couldn't tell you the way
I'm pretty sure that's what I've seen. And I don't understand. Once they've left the ground, what do you want them to do? They can't control. Do you want them to just jump straight upward?
Yeah.
They can't control the directionality of their body once their feet have actually left the ground.
Yeah.
It's just bonkers.
And as I said, opposing ruckmen have now seen this, so they won't jump. They feel like, he's into my space, then they get a free kick out of it. So savvy ruckmen have now worked out how to manipulate that rule by not jumping.
Yeah.
Which seems a bit of a letdown.
Not ideal. All right. I have one about Max Gawn. Would you rather read this one because he's in your team?
No,
Maybe hits a bit closer to home. Okay.
You're on fire. Go for it.
I don't know if you've looked at any photos of Max Gawn this year, but I've noticed something a little bit amiss.
Giamus.
Well, that's very nice. Well done.
It's better than listening to Amos every game. He's like, did he just say anus? Anyway.
It's not where I thought you were going with that.
My wife can't watch Freo games when Amos gets the ball. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Look, I've been looking at pictures of Max Gawn this year because, he's the GOAT. You want to celebrate a ruckman. His hands are inexplicably smaller than they were in 2025, which I can only conclude is the reason that he seems to be losing his marking ability. These shrinking hands are slowly depleting his ability to mark the ball.
Shrinkage. Yep.
Shrinkage. Yep. He was in the pool.
He was in the pool.
He was in the pool. He was in the pool. And you as a Max Gawn owner, I mean, is this news to you, or have you noted his shrinking hands as well? Because he seems to struggle to hang on to that football lately.
It explains a few things. A few clangers went on the weekend. Maybe you're onto something here. Bit of shrinkage.
Shrinkage of the hands.
Look. This is great. It's a cracking episode. Lockie Whitfield is so unhappy about his low ownership numbers that he's pranked the AFL by releasing and leaking photos of a fake ice pack on his ankle just to throw coaches this week. Let's face it, he was a great option this week. He was one of my targets, and seeing that photo, no deal. Outrageous.
How does that make you feel? Losing the Wang, not getting Whitfield, the combination of both. How does that actually make you feel?
Well, to get the Whitfield, I would have had to have strategically bought in a red dot. So I would have Wang. I don't even know if he's playing this week. Oh, thumb up. Sharp's injured now. I would have potentially 3 red dots sitting in my team. So
yeah, can't do that. Lockie Whitfield is still an awesome trade
great
target,
option,
I think.
Yeah.
And if you're going with a GW, because everyone was talking about Finn Callahan. I'm with you. I am firmly in your camp. I mentioned this last week, but I am firmly in your camp. He's not even in my team, and he's on my never again list.
No,
I mean,
he doesn't look fit.
Appalling.
He's not doing the hard stuff. He's not running hard enough.
Do you think so? Okay, I know that you've been very critical of his work rate, but could it also be the Tom Green factor? Like we've talked about how with Lockie Ash, the Tom Green factor could be affecting Adam Kingsley and his throwing around of the magnets. Is it possible that without Tom Green in there, they just haven't got the quality of ball being cleared to a Finn Callahan as there once was? Or do you think it's Clayton Oliver's doing a fine enough job?
I think he's doing a fine enough.
Yeah,
I think he's doing a fine enough job. I do think there's a fitness element to it at the moment. He's having long stints on the bench. I think in the last quarter he had 2 stints on the bench. He's found himself at half forward again. He's late to stoppage. I think he's lost his explosiveness, and I think his confidence is down as well. I think there's an issue there, fitness-wise, at the moment.
Ironically, I just said he's on my never again list, but tell you what, primed for a comeback in 2027. Finn Callahan. Oh, man. All right, last few here. The Bont, he's also upset. He's pretty unhappy as well. He's unhappy at how cheap he's gotten in AFL fantasy.
It's a bit insulting, isn't it?
It's really frustrating. What he's done is he's pranked coaches this week by putting on fake strapping on his knees to test the loyalty of both true loyalists in the AFL fantasy community who were willing to go there. So he'd reward you, but also he wants to test Bevo. He wants to know, is my coach, does he really believe in me still? So
still waiting for the managed. He's been managed potentially for the last 3 weeks. Does that make you nervy? He's trade target number 1 after what he's done on one leg.
Doesn't make me nervy at all.
You don't think Bevo could pull the against Carlton?
No. Well, I think here's the thing. How many times this year alone, I feel like we've said this about a number of players. We were talking about Hugh McCluggage against Essendon and the possibility of him being managed. We were talking about Dane Zorko and the possibility of him being managed against Essendon. We're talking about Christian Petrarca and it's always Essendon of him being managed against Essendon. Now we've got Carlton and the Demons lined up for Marcus Bonampelli. I just think it's one of those factors. I think I kind of want to just eliminate it from my considerations for the most part in AFL fantasy because I just sort of go, you want the best players in your team. Most of the time, the best players are going to put up the best scores. I don't want to be scared off by player might be managed this week.
Yeah.
I know that we're talking about, a bit of a knee injury and a niggle, but look at what he just went out and did against, oh man, who was it? I can't
Sydney?
read the team. Sydney. Look at what he went out and did against Sydney. I just think, I'm doing it. And if he gets managed and he drops a 90, I don't care. I've still got Marcus Bonampelli in my team. He'll be fine season long. I think you want him in your team and you got him at under $1 million. So can't complain. All right, here's the next one. Last 2.
I missed it. I almost went Zach Butters. I just got Zach Butters. Zach Butters, because I accidentally went down the run sheet, is in cahoots with the AFL and Sportsbet. He took the Sportsbet role after the umpire was let down, and part of the
Nick
deal
Foot
was somehow got him off that MRO. I have no idea how you can go past the ball, collect a guy in the chin, and nothing.
Get off.
Get off. Good
Bizarre.
deal, Butters. Yeah.
Last one. Lockie McAndrew has been he's been frozen in carbonite like Han Solo for the last 10 years in Adelaide's basement at the footy club. And they've just been waiting for the right time to thaw him, as it turns out. And then they knew that the AFL was going to change these rules, and they went, this is the time. So 6 months ago, they started the process of thawing out Lockie McAndrew from carbonite. And here he is leaping for glory for Adelaide, and safely in the R2 spot for many coaches at this middle point of the season. Let us know. I would love to hear from the people. Do you have any conspiracy theories to explain the absolute shenanigans that was round 9? Let us know on Twitter, at us, or send us a DM, and we will happily laugh at those on
Bit of fun.
Friday's pod. Bit of fun.
Yep.
Should we get into the trade block? All right, welcome to the trade block, where we chat upgrade targets, downgrade targets. But first, before we do that, we talk about the players who need to
get out of here! Go home! What are you, crazy? You're a real nut, you know that?
Woo! I got it. Get out of here!
Get out of here. If you have any of the following rookies, Farrow, Sarong, Watkins, they can all go. Sarong's injured. Watkins is potentially losing money. Farrow is bleeding cash after this last week. They are maxed out.
What did he get?
Farrow, a 50?
Yeah, okay.
50 or something. Because you know what? I ended up keeping him because I didn't want
Robert's
to risk.
got it all.
Robert's got. Well, I thought to myself, if there was ever a week where Farrow was going to put up a 71 to match his break even.
Yeah. It was that
would
one.
Probably be, it was that one. And I kept him because Sarong was injured, and I didn't want to risk having 2 injuries to then deal with in case someone else went down. In hindsight, 2020, no one else got injured on my team, and I would have been much better off cash-wise. But anyway, that's fine. So Farrow, Sarong, Watkins, they can all go. Now, Lockie McAndrew, he's got Tristan Sherry this week. K-Man, do you think, is it time to move on from Lockie McAndrew if he's in your R2 spot? Like, is he just asking for a coach is asking for a 40 from Lockie McAndrew this week if they hold on?
I guess he's in an okay position where, like Grundy, I think he'll win hitouts where Sherry doesn't have access to maneuver him. I think he'll be okay in that space. His time on ground is now a worry. Really, he's a dual ruck set up with Murray, who plays a little bit of forward as well. I must admit, from my personal perspective, if I was in a really good position, which I'm not,
just to make that clear.
Just to make that clear, yes, I'd be aggressive and I could happily move him, depending on what your buy structure looks like and how you've managed your buy players. But Sherry looks really solid. Again, L-Jacks without a Darcy. I think you could get ahead of the comp because McAndrew now is stringing together these 75, 80, 85 scores. And I just think the way L-Jacks and Sherry are going, you're going to have to start paying more and more money. We could wait for a Gawn to come down, but you're going to pick a Gawn who's playing full forward at the moment and starting full forward. Grundy's expensive. Maybe the 50 is going to bring Grundy down a bit, but for those in a good position, I don't mind an aggressive McAndrew with a very high break even now.
I'm with you. I like it too. I actually considered moving on from him, but I've got Farrow to deal with, and I can't really move on from both. Oh, well, I can't really move on from both. So I want to deal with that first. And with him at R3, I think if you've got him at R3, if you can hold him through the buys, I think that's the play.
That's a good play.
we both agree that you can move on from these three guys as well if you're in the right position to do so. That's a Tanner Bruin, a Josh Rochelle, and a Jack Steele. We had a good conversation earlier this afternoon via text about sort of Bruin and Rochelle, and do you want to take us through? You suggested to me that you're okay moving on a Bruin early. He's now dropped a not so good score. But we also know what he is capable of. You're okay with moving on from a Bruin early if it means something in particular, getting to someone in particular.
Yeah. Again, coaches who have done very well in the last 3 seasons have been aggressive, removing some of these players a week earlier than the comp. We just saw a stinky score. He comes up against the Lions at the Gabba. We saw what that has done to Newman. We've seen what that's done to Josh Dacos. And his break even is relatively close to his scoring at the moment. So I think he's a player you can move, especially if it brings you in a Bont, if it brings you in a Bailey Smith, if it brings you in a Dacos, although Dacos probably has a couple of tags to go. If that's the player you can get and you accept that Bruin, yes, can get a 95, he might get a ton, but he also might have 2 games in a row where his break even is going to really skyrocket and lose that value you've made over the first part of the season. So if he's going to bring in one of those players, then I'm okay moving on a Bruin this week if you don't have any other issues.
I feel similarly about Josh Rochelle. I actually, hindsight is 2020. I wish I'd moved him last week. I think my gut wanted me to move on from him last week, but I was trying to stick to process and get rookies off field. If I don't want to get stuck in a sunk cost fallacy with Josh Rochelle. I think the logic for a lot of people has been, well, just stick with him until the buys. Wait until after round 11 and then get rid of him ahead of his round 12 buy. My problem with Josh Rochelle is not his points on field. Like you made a good point this afternoon about, the forward line is not scoring particularly well in general. So if he's putting up a 60 to 70, that's fine. My concern is not actually that. My concern with him is the rate at which he's losing money. He's just lost 37 grand this week. So he was just a hair over 800K. He's now down at 766. If he does what he did this week again against North Melbourne, and I think North Melbourne have not been an easy matchup this year.
Yeah, tough matchup.
Midfielders or defenders. If he doesn't get him, I think his confidence is down at the moment with his forward craft as well. So if he puts up another 60, like he could be down more around your 720K mark. So I don't want to fall for the sunk cost fallacy of just thinking, well, I've stuck with it this long, move on. So I'm really tempted on moving on a Rochelle this week when I think a lot of people are going to be holding him until round 12. And then that allows you some flexibility then, especially if that means banking a couple $100,000 and getting a bit of a buffer in your bank account. And I don't have this next player. So talk to me. Jack Steele, you happy to move on from him at this stage?
Yeah, I wish I could. I can't. Because I've got other issues, but that's 2 to 3 weeks in a row where Sparrow, Windsor's getting about 75 scores and again having his midfield time. Cozzy is obviously permanent mid and they're playing very quickly. So stoppage Jack Steele. And remember I talked about I think it was a month ago, Jack Steele's output was high because Max Gawn was permanent solo ruck. He's not anymore. Yep. He's playing full forward and he's sharing with the Moose. So there's less stoppages than what they were doing. And that's going to impact Jack Steele. Less tackles, less in and out. So I think those 60s, 70s, and 80s are going to continue. So I think he's someone that you could be aggressive on.
Upgrade targets. Because we've got a long list, can I just rattle these off and then ask you which are your favorite 3?
Yep.
To target this week. So Nick Newman and Connor Buderick, maybe if you're still shopping in that kind of low price bracket. Then we got guys like Sparrow, Brad Hill, the Bont, Lockie Whitfield, Dane Zorko, Jordan Dawson, and Isaac Heaney. So obviously there's a few different tiers here. There's probably that Newman, Buderick, Sparrow, Brad Hill kind of tier. And then we've
Yep.
got, if you're going all the way to the top, you've got guys like the Bont, Lockie Whitfield, Dane Zorko, Dawson, and Heaney. So do you have a top sort of 3 guys from those lists that you'd like to jump on this week?
Yeah, number 1 and 2 go to the Bont and Zorko. If I had told you a month ago you could get both of them for under $1 million, you'd laugh at me, I reckon. Now we have 2 of these top 6 players, with Zorko coming back from injury. He has a great matchup this week. I know notoriously you think Geelong is a tough matchup, but I think he's relatively a juicy matchup for him. And the Bont under $1 million, both of them under $1 million. They're my 1 and 2. And I have a Lockie Whitfield with the run just over $1 million would be my number 3. Special mention, Isaac Heaney.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. We're in lockstep on this. Number 1 is Bont. And I think the separator between the Bont and a Zorko is the break even. Bont has now bottomed out. His break even's 85. He'll start going up in price from next week. So this is the point to get him under $1 million. Dane Zorko, you can wait another week or maybe 2, because I think he's got a break even of like 136 or something like that. I'm just going to look it up. I can't look it up real quick because of my filters. But if you've already got the Bont, nothing wrong with going a little bit early on a Dane Zorko, and as Calvin says, get some Zork on your fork. Yeah. And Lockie Whitfield, we've been singing his praises all episodes, so I'm keen on that one too. I think if you're in desperate straits, you're sort of like, you don't have the cash to get up to these guys, and you're more in that kind of 800 to 900K bracket. I still think you can go Newman, but this is probably the last week. I also like Brad Hill as a forward option if you've got a rookie that you're not liking in your forward line. He's done it again. He seems, I actually think he's safer than Justin McInerney this season. He seems to have a floor of 90 essentially, and he can maybe give you a ton every now and again. So those would be my picks. And man, Jordan Dawson doesn't have the best run, but he's Jordan Dawson and he's looking good. He's putting up good scores. He's pretty cheap.
Playing half back. He's back to doing half back things. And that's what you want to see. Yep.
I guess the flag with Dawson is he's got the round 12 bye, but I think the round 12 bye is more of a big deal for the forward line. So, but just double check if you're thinking of trading into him. And finally, the really gross part of the trade block this week is the downgrade targets, because it is a barren wasteland out there. We think our top rookie trade target this week is probably Toby Murray. If you're looking for a rookie forward, he's not cheap anymore. That's actually why I got him in last week. He was 308K, and I thought he'll jump up, and he has. He's gone to 370K, but he's got a -9 break even. Do you know what, though? He's cheaper than the other pretty good options in terms of downgrades. So I think he's going to make money. The forward line rookies are a tough shout at the moment, so I think that's a good option. Can I ask you, though, Sully Roby and Sam Cumming, both of them just over 420K. Has the ship sailed? Are they too expensive now if you didn't get either of them in last week?
Oh, I think so. Roby was great with a Sharp injured in the second half and Sardis not there. They're going to have to replenish the midfield stocks after what happened to Sharp. I think he's too expensive. 426. Coming 423, and he wasn't great on the weekend. Port's just announced a debutant, so hoping this week with so much fatigue with our rookies that we could start seeing the next crop of rookie debuts and hopefully some job security for at least a month during mid-season buys, so we can continue this cash generation.
If you need someone in the ruck line and you've got a red dot elsewhere for looping, Max Heath seems to be a staple in the Melbourne side. He's got a break even of 16, which is still relatively low. He's put up 50, 50, and 67 the last 3 weeks. So he could be another cash generating option for you that you could use to trade out for a red dot later in the season when you need some extra cash. So he's an interesting one to jump on. He's getting pretty expensive now at 389K though. So if you're going to make a move like that, now is probably the time to do it. Now, this last bit, the defenders, this is where I'm going to be selfish because I must get a defender in this week because I have Jacob Farrow and I have no other DPP options. Can I sell you?
Scarce.
Can I sell you on a Will Edwards of the Sydney Swans? He is 23 years old, 286K, so he's as close to basement price. Man giant. He's as close to basement price as you're going to get for a playing player. He's got a break even of 19. The problem is he's averaging 38 points, so he's not going to be outperforming that break even for long. I do think he's got job security. If you are in a situation where you absolutely must trade in a defender, because I think there are probably teams out there like mine where you probably are, would you rather hold a Jacob Farrow for another week and let him bleed another 30K down to 560 odd? Or do you move him now for someone like a Will Edwards because there are no other options seemingly presented themselves? Or do you just bite the bullet and get a red dot?
I don't mind the red dot play if you don't have any other red dots. Sharp's injury may prevent coaches from doing so. The thing that's missing from Edwards with his height is the contested marks. If he can add that element to his game where he can... see, the thing about Sydney is everything goes through Blakey and the transition is really quick. If he can just add some intercept marks to his game, I think he would be a good pick. McCartan coming back, I don't know what his length of injury is, whether that's going to impact Edwards moving forward. I think best bet, again, is to look out for some debutants this week.
Yeah.
And hope we have this new influx. But look, he's playing. This is just the dire areas that we're going to go at the moment and just reinforces the quality of rookies we had at the start of this season and whether that's given us a bit of false expectation about what the rest of the season is going to look like, because it could be a bit bleak for the next month.
We done? I think that's it.
I think so. Yeah.
We're done. You can follow K-Man on Twitter at K-Man_TC Fantasy. You can follow me on Twitter at Contest Fantasy. Thank you for tuning in to what I hope was a really fun episode about conspiracies, tinfoil hats, sports bet, Isaac Rankin not being invited to a forward line cabal. It's clearly very popular amongst them. You can join us on Friday, as usual, for some trade therapy. We look forward to seeing you then. Catch you.